Right. An ex-boyfriend once dumped me after he found the list of pros and cons I'd made about him.
Oh, my gosh.
Please, team.
How long had you been seeing this guy for?
I'd been seeing him for about 6 months.
And how did you meet him?
I met him at Carnival.
Right.
Anything in Carnival just seems really excitable and nice.
Yeah.
And then when the sun's not shining and the Calypso stops playing, you realise, OK, this is not as nice as I thought it was.
So a 6-month relationship that was good for one day?
Yeah.
Let's start with the positives. What was the pros about this guy?
The pros was he was always on time.
Wow. I'll tell you what, there's a guy to your right you're going to like.
He was a good dancer and he drove.
I don't know, is he still single? Because he sounds great.
What about the cons?
Commitment seemed to be an issue. When I was going through conversations of, you know, exes, it was always very short term.
So he was good at getting there on time, but he didn't want to stay.
This is what I'm saying.
Did you say in your statement that he found this list?
Yeah.
So talk us through that. Well, I mean, you could act it out. Just imagine, David, use your lovely acting skills.
Yes.
And you had bad credit as well.
Bad credit, but I can drive.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I can't imagine this. What is this list?
Firstly, your credit is bad, OK?
I've had some money troubles, but at least I can dance and drive.
Being able to dance and drive is not going to help for a longer relationship because you can't commit to anything. So you're going to wind up on me for 2 weeks and then wind up on somebody else. And
This is great. This is like a mashup of EastEnders and Antiques Roadshow.
Sometimes the truth is what you need. And I tried to make subtle hints to you.
This is a subtle hint. This list of pros and cons.
It was a subtle hint.
See attached sheet.
It was a subtle...
I'll tell you what I have to say now is I'm on David's side in this argument. Come on, David, get your bags. You're coming with me.
Caroline, what are you thinking?
No, I don't think it's true.
You don't think it's true?
John?
Yeah, I think it is.
You think it is? Who do I trust most of these two people? Sell it to me, John.
I'm a terrible judge of character, I've got to say.
I won't lie. I was expecting a bit more positivity in that argument. I'm going to go with Caroline.
All right, Judy, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was the lie.
It's a lie. Judy didn't make a pros and cons list for her ex. So please welcome this week's special guest, Jake. So, Oti, what is Jake to you?
This is Jake, and on the German version of Strictly, I knocked his tooth out with a high kick.
So, Oti's damaged dancer. James, how do you know Jake?
This is Jake. When he split up with his girlfriend, everyone blamed me instead of him.
Right, James's breakup buddy. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Jake?
This is Jake. I once knocked him into a grave with a frisbee.
So there we have it. Oti's damaged dancer, James's breakup buddy, or Lee's frisbeed friend. David's team, where to begin?
OK, so why were you on German Strictly?
Oh, so I live in Germany, and that's where the UK version found me.
And Jake was your...
He was the celebrity.
What does he do?
He's a weatherman.
He's a weatherman.
Wetterman.
So what is he?
Wetterman.
He's a German weatherman.
But he's very talented because he's a weatherman. I mean, this is difficult to do.
Well,
and he can dance. I have a lot of admiration for the weatherman and weatherwomen.
Yeah, but that's all you're doing is showing people to tables. It probably looks really skillful.
How good a dancer was he? Because on Strictly, you often have people that aren't very good.
We made it up to week 9.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, in German, that's 0, so it means week 0.
No.
Nine means no.
It's close enough, Rob. It's close enough as a joke.
9 does not mean 0.
It means week no, OK?
No,
just let it go.
No, because the joke doesn't work.
Well, I think you'll find that all us lot disagree.
So what happened? You said you hit him?
Yeah, so this was during a live show, right? And the worst part is that was the end of the number. So you have to go there and stand by the judges.
No, the worst part is it knocked his tooth out. Typical dancer mentality, and the worst thing is we got judged terribly.
Did you get through to the next week?
Yeah, it's Germany. They vote.
Germany have got a terrible history for voting for the wrong person, don't they? Why is that an ooh? Surely you would agree with that. Yeah. Why is that contentious?
Yeah,
is that a room splitter?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we liked Adolf Hitler.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just contemplating the rise of fascism.
What about James?
James, what's the scenario?
This is Jake, and when he split up with his girlfriend, everyone blamed me instead of him.
Why?
Because I had to deliver the news.
What do you mean?
We wrote a letter together. We were like 15, and it was Jake's first girlfriend, and he hadn't got experience of how to break up with people. And to be fair, not even less. And we decided, he's like, I've got to break up with her, and I don't know how to do it.
Why has he got to break up with her?
They weren't really clicking, they didn't have much chemistry.
Right.
Did you write it together?
Yeah, we wrote it together in a field.
Do you remember that letter at all?
It was, I remember it started off with, Dear Yvonne, this is the hardest letter I've ever had to write.
Why were you in the field?
We liked to go for a lot of walks, me and Jake.
I can see what's happening here. Am I the only one that knows what's happening here?
Why didn't he write it on his own? Why you?
Because I think he was worried he would say the wrong thing, and so we tried to, like...
So he wanted to make sure?
Yeah, it's like, maybe we can work on it together, and we sat down in the field and we wrote this letter.
And can you remember more of the text?
I know that it didn't really drop the bombshell until a little bit in, because I remember when I gave it to her, to begin with, she was very excited to receive a letter from Jake, and then she was going through...
Did you stand there while she was reading the letter?
Yeah.
You stood there?
Well, I just had that. So she was in my form.
Yeah.
So I had to go over to her table and go, oh, this is from Jake. And she was like, oh, Jake's given me a letter. And then all the girls on the table were like, yes!
Why did you give it to in front of other people?
I was 15 years old. You're a grown man.
Did she look at you, like, did she blame it on you straight away?
Yeah, as soon as they all got to that bit, they all looked at me and were like, and were really furious with me and really angry.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
And Jake was, I mean, Jake's a wild boy. They kind of expected it from him.
When you say wild, what exactly do you mean?
He went through a phase when he used to jump in the school long jump pit naked. He played Mr. Hyde in a play and licked a girl's face. I was in a band with him. Really? Yeah, he was a keyboard player, but he couldn't play keyboard, so we turned it all the way down. Then we chucked him out the band and he smashed his keyboard up in the woods.
He really is a wild man. All right. Now, what about Lee?
So, Lee, what's this grave frisbee
Just remind us, Lee.
This is Jake, and I once knocked him into a grave with a frisbee.
So, how did that happen?
Well, there was a frisbee, and it hit him, and he fell in the grave. I mean... What more do you need to know, David?
Were you in a cemetery?
I was just on the edge of a cemetery. I was on the other side of a wall of a cemetery.
Mm-hmm. And so, what were you playing with? A friend? Kids?
Yeah, I find frisbee on my own quite hard. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of this is Jake, and I once hit him with a boomerang, and he fell into a grave.
So, who were you playing frisbee with?
With my son.
And how high was the wall of this cemetery?
It was about... it's quite low. It's about 3 foot, 4 foot. Just a very, very low wall.
In French?
No, it was in the countryside in England.
No, because 3 foot, 4 foot is what in French? I don't know.
It is 4 foot. No, sorry, it's 4 foot.
What was he doing in the cemetery?
What was he doing?
Yeah.
He was actually the grave digger. Look at his face. Of course, I'm telling the truth. I say grave digger, I mean body snatcher.
Why were you there? Were you on holiday?
I just was having a day out to some church my wife wanted to see. So my wife and my son and me, we went off. We went off to a field, had a look at a church. My wife loves the church, so she had a look at the church. Me and my son are not interested in church. Are you all right there? And I said, well, me and you, we always take a frisbee because everywhere she goes and looks at, we're not, you know, we're often on Oxford Street when she's shopping.
So how did she find out about that particular church?
She went on Google when she was looking about slugs.
So how did he fall in the grave?
Because he was looking at his hole. The hole he just dug, and he obviously just finished. He's very proud. It's a 6-foot hole. It takes a long time to dig a 6-foot hole. Trust me, I know. I've buried a few. And he's looking down, thinking, I finally finished. And but as luck would have it, my son missed it, went over his head, hit him on the back of the knee, and he's gone straight in.
OK.
How did you know he fell into the grave?
How do I know he fell in the grave? Because there was a fella stood there and then he wasn't.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Jake Otie's damaged dancer, James's breakup buddy, or Lee's frisbeed friend?
I don't buy the dancing, but I think James's story is very plausible, and they look alike anyway.
That's not a rule.
They're not claiming to be brothers, they're claiming to be friends.
Well, you have to have a reason. That's my reason. There you go.
What are you thinking, Danny?
James. I really believe this story.
Yeah. David?
Yeah, I think probably James.
Oh, OK. There's no doubt within your team, David.
There's no doubt.
We think we know, and which is absurd, because, of course, we don't. But,
Jake, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jake, and James helped me break up with my girlfriend.
Yes, Jake is James's breakup buddy. Thank you very much, Jake.
I once dumped a boyfriend because I didn't like the way he fell down the stairs.
David's team.
how often had you been pushing him down the stairs?
I just hid his wheelchair.
If you've been affected by any of the issues raised in tonight's show...
How did he fall down the stairs? What was
Very ungainly.
What kind of stairs did he fall down? Where was he?
It was just outside his flat, and there was, like, 5 steps, and then another 5 steps. Well, you know, those ones that go sort of in different directions.
Concrete steps?
Yeah, concrete.
So this is nasty. This isn't...
It was a nasty fall, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you finish with him because he was so badly injured he was no use to you?
This was sort of like the last straw, really.
What was the other straws?
There were so many straws.
Tell me one.
He used to fall out of cupboards.
He was quite mean. He was quite a mean person.
Can you walk us through the scenario? What happened?
OK, so we're leaving his flat. He locks the door. He loses his footing on the steps, makes a little scream, and he just fell.
How many stairs did he go down? Because the way you've described it, there were corners. Did he go round the corners?
He's a man, not a slinky.
No, he did. He did.
So how did you react? Did your compassionate side come out?
Well, I asked him if he was all right, and then I sort of made a mental note to cut him out of my life.
So what are you going to say, Nadia? Does it ring true for you?
Did you want to leave him before the fall?
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, because it was the last straw.
It was the last straw, yeah.
But she only offered up one straw. If I had a resentment against an ex-lover, right, I could give you a short list off the top of my head.
Even that was a bit scatty. Waking up and seeing her in bed with the milkman. Oh.
I think it might be true.
Say
We're going to go with true.
Say true. Diane, truth or lie?
It is actually true.
Wow. It's true. Diane did dump a boyfriend because of the way he fell down the stairs.
Victoria doesn't know this. But on those very rare occasions that she does something I find irritating, I get my own back by sneaking upstairs and moving her bookmarks.
Please, team.
When you say Victoria doesn't know this, surely when she goes to the book to read the book and she goes where the bookmark is, there must be lots of instances where she's thinking, am I losing my mind? I'm not following this book. Or
Yes, that's exactly what she thinks.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Victoria, when you're reading a book, do you ever sometimes have that feeling of being lost? Do you ever have
I
a
have
feeling
sometimes opened a book and thought I didn't think that's where I was.
How many books are you reading at the same time?
I mean, 7 or 8.
David, how many books does Victoria read at the same time?
Oh, I'd put it between 6 and 9.
And do they tend to be fiction, non-fiction?
Yes, those are the main two.
And what are the things you said, sometimes rare occasions, Victoria does something
I
that...
don't want to go into that.
No, I mean, far away.
No, I don't want to go into that.
What sort of things are we talking about?
No, just behavioural things. just as simple as things to do with things she said or done. That's all it
Maybe
is.
when I ask you what the weather's going to be like, and I go, what do you think it's going to be? And you go, I don't think anything. I've looked at the weather forecast, and what it says is this.
Little things like, yes. Essentially, she holds me responsible for the weather forecast as if I've made it.
No, she doesn't. She says, what do you think the weather's going to do? Perfectly reasonable.
It's not perfectly reasonable.
What?
She's got access to the weather forecast on her own phone. It's just, these are meteorologists. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. I'm just reading it out.
They are physically sitting further apart, have you noticed?
Is there anything, Victoria, that you might do to David if he'd annoyed you? What would your retaliation be if, indeed, he is moving...
Well, he might find out.
Incidentally, I've been feeling weaker and weaker over the...
OK, what are you going to say?
I believe in their relationship. I must be just the most naive person here because I want to...
I'm invested in it.
I am. I'm emotionally invested in their relationship, and I do think David's a nice guy, and I don't think he would do that because that really would upset him.
So what we're saying is, if it's true, it's a really unpleasant thing and a really bad indictment on their marriage.
Yes.
Well, this has taken a nasty turn, hasn't it?
What's it going to be?
I don't want it to be true, but...
Oh, I do.
You think it's...
I want his life to fall apart. This would be such fun.
I think it's true. I don't want it to be true. I'm trying to, see the real person. I think he's a nice guy.
Now, the David I know, I don't think this is unpleasant enough.
Well, you know him way more
Yeah, but
than
also,
we know.
David doesn't like you. He loves. So it's a different relationship.
That's true, yes. But he doesn't hate me, right?
No. Even though, Lee, you on television have said you want my marriage to fall apart, I still find you an adequate colleague.
Can I ask you a question, David?
Yeah.
Are you still writing for Clinton cards?
It's time to decide. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say true, but I don't want it to be true.
It can't.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's a lie.
It's got to be a lie, because it's an awful, awful thing to do.
It is.
You're saying it's a lie.
I really
Because
hope it's a
nobody
lie.
would do that.
If this is the truth, it's awful.
It really is. They're saying it's a lie. David, is it true or is it a lie?
It is a lie.
I once ruined a date when I punched myself in the face.
David's team.
What was the context?
We were doing party tricks, and she was doing all these kind of like... She's double jointed, and she was doing all this...
Can you be careful with this, because you've already admitted you punched yourself in the face.
So she was like, come on then, so what's your party trick? And I was like, well, I can kind of do this punching thing where, like, I don't actually punch myself, but I kind of, like, move with it, but I still get the sound, because I've got a massive neck.
Yeah.
Show us it. Show us it.
OK, so it's basically like that. It doesn't actually hurt, but...
Wow.
It looks pretty good, right? But
Certainly, if you're trying to impress a young lady on a first date, you'd be hard-pushed to find anything better than that.
So, as you can see there, it's not great. And that was the problem. What I did is I kind of, like, forgot to move with it, because that's the whole thing, you move. I clipped my jaw, and the side of my cheek started bleeding. She didn't realise this, but I could feel the blood filling up in my mouth. So I went to the toilet. I went, hey, I'll be back in a minute. And then I was in the toilet, and it wasn't stopping. It was, like, my tongue and my mouth, and it was, like, literally pouring out of my mouth. And then I started getting paranoid, because I'm like, I've been in here for a while. She's going to think I'm having a poo.
And there's nothing worse than coming back from the toilet when someone thinks you've had a poo and your mouth's bleeding. It's not a great image, is it?
And yeah, I was in there for at least around 15 minutes. It wasn't stopping. And then I just went home and I turned my phone off and I never saw her again.
You're not serious.
Yeah.
You walked out of the restaurant.
I left. I couldn't...
How far through the meal were you?
No, I mean, we were just waiting for starters. It was like... Then that's
worse.
So she sat there like this still.
If you're waiting for starters, that means you've ordered the meal, so a bill is coming.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry. I'm really...
Was she in touch with you to ask what happened?
Well, yeah, kind of, but I didn't reply. Shall I punch myself again? I feel like...
Imagine your first date, Victoria. The first time, there must have been a first time when you and David went out together. What was his party trick? What did David do for you?
David went for the more old school sort of wit and charm, no, let me get this.
Why, what had you dropped?
Although I was already besotted before we even went on the date. He could have punched himself in the face, I wouldn't mind.
I've actually got the taste of vomit in my mouth.
How does this seem to you?
It seems ungentlemanly.
It is. I'm very ashamed of it, and it was a long time ago. It was around 6 years ago. I would never do that again.
You're so obviously embarrassed about it, I think it must be true.
What do you think?
I think it might well be true as well.
Yeah, I think it's true.
OK, you're saying true.
Yeah.
Asim, was it true or was it a lie?
It was... true.
Yes.
Sorry for you.
I once refused to pick up my girlfriend from the station because I couldn't bear to step over a spider that was between me and my front door.
David.
Was this out of fear or respect for the spider?
Kind of a combination of both. What happened was she rang me, and it was late at night, and so she wanted me to go and collect, be a gentleman, walk her home. So I had to tell her.
And you were prepared to
again.
tell her that you were too frightened to walk across the spider to collect it from a dark station in the middle of the night.
It was a big spider.
How pathetic was that?
It caused a huge argument because I was refusing to let... She was saying she didn't want to walk through the streets of London. It was quite frightening. At night, and I was going, yeah, but there's a spider. There's a spider here, which is real. You're scared of some notional threat. I can see one.
Get a stick or something, give it a little tweak and it'll run away.
And he has faced spiders in the jungle. And Lembit Opik.
We still don't know how she got in, you got out, and then what happened?
Well, obviously I was scared, so I dropped a Yellow Pages on it. I kill spiders without any
With only hours and hours of terrified hesitation.
David, which way are you leaning?
Could be true, but that's so often the case on this game.
I think it's a complete lie.
You think it's a complete lie?
Yeah.
Right?
If it's true, I feel very sorry for Charlie, actually.
Because
it's so pathetic.
Just openly pity me, for
I
God's
hate
sake.
it when there's so much riding on whether something's true or a lie. It's easy when it's just the game, but now it's your whole view of Charlie. What do you think?
A lie.
You think it's a... OK, we're going to say...
You say a lie?
It's a lie.
OK, David's team think it's a lie. Charlie, were you telling the truth or were you telling us a lie?
It's actually a hideous truth. I'm genuinely paralysed by fear when I encounter a spider. They're not natural. I know they are natural. You know what I mean.
I don't like spiders at all. I would sort of agree with you, Charlie. They are basically monsters.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they are tiny.
I
tell you what spiders would scare me. The spiders that kill you in Australia. The spiders that hide in toilets and bite you on the arse just when you're at your most relaxed. And then you don't see them, you die happy. You die at the moment of relaxation, the glorious moment of ingestion, and then all gone.
Can I ask you, David, is that the only time you truly relax?
Even then, I don't truly relax.
Yes, it's true. Charlie did refuse to pick his girlfriend up because he couldn't step over a spider on the stairs. The best way to get rid of a spider is with a glass and a piece of cardboard. You put the cardboard over the spider, then bash it to death with the glass. So please welcome this week's special guest, John. Right, Charlie, we'll start with you. How do you know John?
This is John. On Valentine's Day, when I was 17, I presented him with a dustbin for his daughter.
Nina, how do you know John?
This is John. He was the first person ever to have a drink at the Queen Vic, and the first person ever to have a curry at my restaurant, the Argy Bargy.
And Lee, what about you?
This is John, and he is the previous owner of my house who still pops round with his deck chair so he can sit in my garden on sunny days.
All right, so there we are. David, where do you want to start?
Ooh. Well, Charlie, this is quite a complex series of events. You presented him with a dustbin on Valentine's Day when you were 17 for his daughter.
Yes. I intended to give the bin to her, but she wasn't there. So I gave the bin to John.
What was the name of his daughter?
Ted Rogers.
Catherine.
What sort of bin was it?
Like a big garden bin. OK, I thought it would be a funny Valentine's gift was to give a bin.
Because it's so unromantic.
That's the clever ruse, you see. If you're a bit, you're a bit unsure of yourself, so you don't want to give a Valentine's card that says, I actually fancy you. You want to give something that sort of could make you look a bit mad.
What was that? Was there a note with the bin saying poem?
I put her initials on it. You could get these sort of gold initials. You could.
Oh, you can. You can ask for a bin to have like nice gold initials or something, a nice sentiment written on it. Can't you? A lot of companies do that to bins.
Don't be facetious.
Sorry.
I stuck the letters on myself. You haven't got a shred of romance in you.
What was it? Was it wrapped? Did you wrap it?
No, I put a red bow round it. Romantic red bow.
No, you
don't mock what happened. I was really nervous that day, okay?
Yeah.
I was really...
I can imagine while you were nervous, you were probably thinking, I don't know, is the bin the right present? I think any girl would love a bin, but you can't be sure.
Oh, I'm glad my torment amuses you so much, you nasty little man.
Let's move along now, I think, to someone else.
Yeah. OK, so, Lee, why would you let the previous owner of your house still come and sun himself in the garden? Don't say it's because you're kind, because I know you.
What's wrong with his garden?
That's a sad story. When he sold us the house, he hasn't got a garden anymore.
Does he live on his own?
He does live on his own, in a flat.
And he keeps a deck chair just for the purpose of visiting your garden?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he used to come round, and then I found out that he loved the garden, and so I sort of said, well, come round if you want to, if you want to come and sit in my garden.
Sweet, but it's bollocks, isn't it?
Why don't you let him leave a deck chair there?
I don't tell him he has to take the deck chair, but I don't know, maybe he hasn't got any furniture.
Nina, remind us.
Sure. John is basically a supporting artist that has been there since day one, 25 years on EastEnders, and he's known as being the first of everything. So he'll be the first who had a drink at the Vic, he's the first who has been in the laundrette, he's the first who's kind of done any set.
And also, you say he was the first person to eat in...
To have a curry since the Masouds have owned the Argy Bargy.
Well, that's very... That's very plausible. Yeah. But at the same time, could have been made up.
just check something. What? Is he the first in every... Well, he's not. He's the bloke who comes around my house and sits in the garden. But if he wasn't... is he the first... Well, imagine he wasn't, right? The bloke that sits in my garden for a minute, and he is. But imagine he's not, right?
If it turns out you're telling the truth,
It's a great
this is one hell of a ballsy double.
Is he the first? In every set? Is he like in Doc Cotton's cupboard? Is he just stepping out? Or you mean in the public sets?
No, in the public sets.
So, David, is John Charlie's dustbin dad, Nina's EastEnders extra, or Lee's friend with a deck chair?
Do you watch EastEnders? Do you recognise this guy?
Has anybody been in my garden?
It's definitely not Lee.
Charlie's is so ridiculous.
Well, I
It's
know,
just
but
so absolutely up his road, isn't it?
Charlie became so heated in defence of his romantic actions.
Too passionate about it, really. Bless.
That's what emotions are like.
Yeah. It's a hell of a thing to get back in touch with the father of someone you were infatuated with years ago and who you gave a bin to. I mean, it's possible, but it's a lot easier to get in touch with the regular supporting artist on the show that you work on.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Come on, then. What are you going to say?
OK, Nina.
You're going to say Nina is telling the truth. John, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm John, and when Charlie was 17... He presented me with a dustbin for my daughter on Valentine's Day.
Yes! And Charlie, John has a present for you tonight. You haven't seen it for 23 years, and I'm serious, it's here tonight, the actual bin. And there are the initials on there. Charlie, you old romantic, you.
So there, you cynics.
Thank you, John.
I can always remember all my ex-girlfriends' names and the order in which I went out with them because their initials happen to make the acronym Bermuda.
OK, off we go. Bermuda. B.
What?
B.
B.
Will you please give me the names of all your ex-girlfriends and make the acronym Bermuda as quickly as possible, please?
OK. Brenda.
No. Brenda. Superb. Brenda is still as popular a name as ever. E.
Sorry?
Ethel. I'm helping you. What's the next one?
Ethel. E.
Is it Ethel?
No, it's not Ethel.
Enid.
No, it's not Enid. Have another guess. Erin.
Sorry?
Erin.
Erin. OK.
I'll just spell Bermuda. Well, I know, I was joking, yes. Sorry, R. That was R. That was actually Regine.
Sorry?
Regine.
Regime, as in regime change?
No.
Next up after Regine.
Regine was the lovely Molly. Molly. I could tell you a thing or two about Molly, but this isn't the time.
Next one.
What about you?
This is the weird one. Right?
They're all a bit weird.
Not actually her name, right, but in my nickname for her, Una.
What was her real name?
Sally.
Why did you call Sally Una?
Because Una Stubbs played Aunt Sally in Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good.
He's good.
Yeah, Dave, experimental year. If you've forgotten it, I'll never forgive you. Happy days, Dave. Happy days.
Dave, the D, that's what you're saying. The D is Dave.
Of course I'm not.
OK.
Delia. Not the Delia. And may I say, not my mother, who was called Delia. True story. Definitely not her.
But that's why it popped into your head now as you were making it up. And A
was Alex.
That certainly is a serendipitous series.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't serendipitous. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
What was the M again?
What?
The M again?
Molly.
And the E?
Was What? The E. I'll tell you exactly what the E was.
The E was...
It was, in fact. I'll tell you exactly... What?
And the U.
And I
The
loved
U.
her. No. Oh.
The U.
Sally.
Real name,
Sally.
yes. Come on, Lee, you know this. The D.
Give me a D.
The D was...
Mummy. Deirdre.
The E.
Give me an E. Erin.
The B.
Give me a B. That was a long time ago, to be fair. Brenda.
And the R.
And the R was Regine. Regine? Little Regine.
Yeah. Well,
Is that
a
name? Regine. It's a name, isn't it? Tell me it's a name. Regine's a name. Anything's a name, isn't it? I went out with a girl called Cupboard for 3 weeks. Not a joke.
Where did cupboard come in the Bermuda list?
Oh, she was before I invented the acronym system.
Sorry, it was a system. It didn't happen by accident. You were seeking out people beginning with these letters. What was it about the island of Bermuda?
Because all my ex-girlfriends went missing.
So what do you think, David? What does your team think?
I think it's a lie.
Would he go with somebody called Brenda?
What do you mean, would I go? Yes, she was Miss World, right? She came and she said to me, I really like you. And I went, I like you. What's your name? Brenda. Forget it.
So what's it going to be, David?
I think...
I think it's preposterous because it's preposterous.
I think it's a lie. I think it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
Lee, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
Of course I was telling a lie.
Oh, yes, well done.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee's ex-girlfriends do not form an acronym that spells Bermuda, although they have formed a support group.
When I worked in McDonald's, my long-term girlfriend joined the queue to my till, and when she got to the counter, she dumped me.
Lee.
So how old were you?
I was 18. I think I was 18.
OK, so you're 18 years old.
How long did you consider a long-term girlfriend to be when you were 18?
Well, she was actually my first girlfriend. Her name was, presumably is, Kate. Not in touch, she could have died. I mean, I don't know. You know, but,
Yeah, look on the bright side.
Kay dumped you. Was she special?
She was.
It's a Special K joke. I'm not explaining it all. Am I allowed to mention Special K, Rob, or do I have to mention crunching on cornflakes?
Well, I think when it comes to breakfast cereals, there is one that stands head and shoulders above all the rest.
So how long was long-term?
2 years. But when you're 18, that's a long-term relationship.
Can you remember what she said to you?
I can't actually, Miranda, no. But what made it doubly heartbreaking was I loved that job, and...
What?
Well, you didn't get a sack, did you?
Well, no, but I loved the job, and then she came in and broke my heart at this place that meant so much to me, and that added to the emotional impact of what she said.
What was it about the job that you loved so much?
Let me tell you a fact about this place. This is amazing, right? The regular meat, which is the meat that goes in their signature burger, it goes from frozen to fully cooked in 44 seconds. I found this amazing.
Fascinating. I wonder why she dumped you.
I
think we should get back to the girl.
Well, she got to the front of the queue. She dumped me there and then. And I left my station, didn't serve the other customers, and then I went to the storeroom and I sat on a box of gherkins. And I cried my eyes out.
Oh, that's gherkins for you, though.
Kay put in her order. She puts in her order and says, I would like burger.
Kate.
Oh, that changes everything.
What's her name? Kate. Hang on, Richard, what's her name?
Special K joke doesn't work. I didn't want to say anything.
No.
Oh, it's Kate.
Kate.
Yeah. I thought it deserved a bigger laugh.
I wondered why the hell you said it. You're always trying to work it round to crunchy nut. Leave him alone.
I don't. Richard, you be young Richard, OK, at the counter of this fast food outlet.
OK.
David, you are a normal customer.
Okay.
Dale is Kate.
Oh. Could I please have a fillet o fish, but with no cheese? Hold the cheese, and put the cheese on the chips, please.
But not with cheese and bread.
Excuse me, where are the toilets?
They're actually just next to my till, actually. The door's just about there.
I'll, see you later, Kate.
You got it. Oh, gosh, it's my girlfriend, Kate. Hello, Kate.
Well, I thought I'd come in and see you tonight. I haven't heard from you.
Oh, what's funny about
Oh, it's Meryl Streep in The Iron Lady.
I'm afraid, Richard, it's over. You're just not my kind of guy.
Oh, beautiful. So what are you thinking, Lee? Does this sound credible to you?
I'm suddenly going truth, and I think he was dumped in a queue at said burger joint.
I find it staggering that he remembers all the facts that he remembers about how long it takes meat to defrost, and yet he cannot remember what she actually said
There's
when
an
she got
answer
to
to
the
that.
front of the queue.
But is he...
The answer to that is he's a man.
So, Lee, what's it going to be? Truth or lie?
Are we going... You're saying lie, Claire? Is that what you're saying?
true.
Miranda says true.
Yeah.
Go on, I will go with Miranda and say it's true.
You're going to say it's true? OK. Richard Bacon, was that the truth or was it a lie?
That story is true.
Yes, it's true. When Richard worked in a fast food restaurant, his long-term girlfriend joined the queue to his till and dumped him when she got to the counter. And then, to rub salt in the wound, she ordered a Happy Meal.
I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me while I was bouncing on a trampoline and spotted her over the fence with another man.
What age did this traumatic event occur to you?
I was 18.
So what were they doing next door?
Well, you don't want to know that, do you? They were lying, believe it or not, on a trampoline.
You were trampolining in your garden.
Yes.
And you saw over the fence.
Yes.
Into your girlfriend's garden.
No, she didn't live next door.
Oh, right. So
Neither lived next door.
Neither of them lived next door?
Correct.
Why were they next door, then?
Because there was a party going on next door, and it sort of slightly drifted into my house. It was like two sort of houses were taking part in the party. It sort of bled into mine.
What sort of trampoline was it, Lee?
It was the TS497, the only trampoline. I remember jumping up over the fence, seeing them kissing and thinking, is that the TX417? Where did he get that from? I wish we could afford one of them. Stop kissing her!
I think you know what I mean.
Yes.
Was it an oblong trampoline? Was it the modern one with the nets, the circle with the nets up the side?
Don't say that! You know her name was Annette. It was a trampoline with no net round the side.
Oblong or circular?
Well, she'd lost a bit of weight. I would say slim to oblong.
So, you couldn't see what was going on except at the top of your bounce trajectory, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what do you see for an instant at the top of that bounce? Are they already doing it?
They're not doing it.
Are they already kissing? Are they already writing poetry?
Have they taken their shoes off?
They hadn't taken their shoes off.
Oh!
You know what was worse, though? It was the only thing they were wearing.
How long had you been seeing her for?
We've been up and down over the years.
So go on, you're at the peak of your trajectory, affording you a wonderful bird's-eye view of the neighbouring trampoline.
Correct.
What did you see?
I saw my then girlfriend.
Whose name was?
She was called Joanne.
So what happened?
I wanted to have a proper look. I went straight up to the climbing frame, and sure enough, my fears were confirmed.
Oh, my
It was
word.
the TX497.
You must have been furious.
Oh, I was so angry. I was so angry. So I came round, got on the trampoline, and I went, Joanne! And she looked round, there was no one there. And then I went to the top again, Joanne! She looked round, there was no one there. This carried on for a long time. Joanne! So then I timed it perfectly. I said Joanne when I was down. Joanne! Well, it took a while before I worked out that system.
So what do you think, David? Is he telling the truth?
I don't think so, no.
Why? Can I be honest with you? I'm not convinced either.
Lee, bouncing on the trampoline and spying Joanne. Truth or lie?
It's a lie.
No!
Once, when I spotted an ex-boyfriend in a department store, I pretended to be a shop mannequin to avoid having to speak to him.
Lee?
Well, I know what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, it's probably different. Sorry. You want to see the mannequin thing? Oh, right. Oh, yeah, whatever. Do that, yeah. Do that, but then we do mine, yeah?
I would like to see the mannequin impression.
Well, it was in the department where they used to sell a lot of fabrics, and they used to have mannequins draped in just swathes of cloth. So I grabbed a swathe of fabric and just dragged it across my shoulder, and it was full length.
Where was this? Well, we haven't said where it was.
It was in Dickens and Jones on Regent Street.
Oh, lovely.
And when was this?
Oh, it's a long time ago, early in the 60s.
Surely you weren't old enough to shop on your own in the early 60s, Joe?
So gallant.
No, I'm kidding, I believe you.
I've said sorry to mannequins before now, in the department stores. I've done that.
But what were you doing to them?
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee? Is it the truth?
Warren, what do you think? Do you think there's...
I think she's telling the truth.
Really? Do you think...
The thing for me is, if you're within 6 or 8 foot of an X and you don't recognise it because you're static, it just seems...
I wouldn't know. I've never been allowed within 8 feet of my ex. Go on, then. I'll say it's a lie.
OK, they're saying it's a lie. Joan, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It's a lie.
Even though we use the same brand, I insist my wife and I have separate tubes of toothpaste because the way she squeezes hers is just plain wrong.
David's
right. I can believe that. To be honest, it happens with us as well. We've got separate toothpaste tubes, so...
What does your wife do, then?
I always squeeze mine up from the bottom,
yeah.
but she'll just squeeze it randomly. Is that like you, Josh?
I'd imagine when you squeeze your tube, the whole blooming head comes off.
So I do mine traditionally from the top.
Right. From the top? That's not traditional.
That's not traditional.
Well, no. The toothpaste comes out the top.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is traditional.
That is traditional.
I mean,
Do you know what, David? Thank you very much, because I've been having this argument for 6 or 7 years.
What she did, cut a hole in the side?
No, not at the side. So she cuts the bottom corner off, you know,
No,
like...
she doesn't.
No, she does. Like, you know, with a 99, when you bite the bottom of the...
Yes.
Because she doesn't like the way the top clags up with toothpaste.
Ah.
So about halfway through, she'll cut the bottom corner off and go from the bottom to get a new kind of exit.
Yeah, so she'll initially make some use of the top nozzle.
Until it starts to get claggy.
And then she cuts it a little rectum.
Yes.
It seems to me a very simple solution. You have your own tubes each.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, we do.
That's the point. that's what we're being invited to believe or disbelieve.
I have found this very reassuring, because you've all backed up my approach and you've totally backed up the way I'm living my life.
I think I believe it. I just want to know when you found this out.
It was probably when we moved in together. And to be honest, I didn't have an issue with it. I thought initially, this is fine, it's quirky.
Oh.
It's something I love about her, and then it started to annoy me.
But that's about everything in life.
All right, so what do we think? Is he telling the truth?
I think he's telling the truth.
I think so too.
I can just imagine him like having quite an independent wife, you know. That just
Yeah,
doesn't...
she'd have to be, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds true. My first instinct was true, so yeah.
OK.
Stick with it.
Well, I think that if Josh had been given that card just now, he wouldn't have invented the idea of snipping the bottom corner off the toothpaste tube. That's what makes me think he's telling
Well, what
the truth.
would he have invented?
What you're saying, David, is
Yeah.
that I don't have the mental capacity to come up with that idea.
Truth is, Josh, I'm not saying it's impossible. With a following wind, on a good day, maybe. What I'm saying is I think it's more likely that it's just something that your wife actually does.
All right, we're saying it's true.
Yeah.
Josh Widdicombe, truth or lie?
It's a lie.
Very good.
I once sold my wife's car, but told her it was stolen.
Lee, what do you think?
When was this?
It was about 6 years ago.
Well, quite recently.
Oh, recently, yes.
It's not
yes.
like in the early days when you were hard up for cash.
No. I was in a bit of strife with some gambling debts, and I could only do it by stealing the car and flogging it. I got three.
Sorry, the studio for Jeremy Kyle's just next door.
I think I got $3,500 for it.
And how do you explain it to your wife?
I told her it was stolen. I said it was outside, love. I don't know what's happened. Where's your car?
You said bloody wombles. I'll take anything.
Does your wife know now?
No.
So she will now when she watches this show.
She won't watch it. I won't let her watch this.
Why, have you told the telly?
No.
Where's the telly?
Stolen glasses. I shall make sure when this is transmitted that we're out of the house. Right, definitely, yes.
The way you're going with your gambling, you might not have a house.
I don't gamble anymore, you see. I mean, that taught me a lesson. That was it. Off. Finished, yeah.
But we're trying to decide whether the esteemed actor and voiceover artist Bernard Cribbins is actually a gambler, a liar and a borderline crook, essentially.
Yeah.
It is not illegal to lie to your wife.
No.
What are you going to say, Lee? Is Bernard Cribbins telling the truth with this bizarre tale of his wife and the car?
OK, what are we saying?
A lie.
Saying it's a lie?
A lie. And what you say, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's a lie, because the alternative is that Cribbins has got a very dark past.
We need it to be a lie, Bernard.
So, Bernard, truth or lie?
I am telling...
It was a lie. Yes. Bernard did not sell his wife's car and then tell her it was stolen. Bernard and his wife have developed an understanding over the years. He doesn't sell her cars, and she doesn't mention Carry On Columbus.
I once watched a sad film immediately before breaking up with a boyfriend so I could generate enough tears to mask my indifference.
Right. Wow. Lee's team.
When was this?
This was about 12 years ago.
Right. So the obvious question to ask is, what was the name of the boyfriend?
Jan.
Jan?
Jan.
J-A-N?
J-A-N.
Do you mean Jan as in Jan because he was Scandinavian?
No.
Do you mean no as in N-O?
It was a nickname.
Yeah?
For January.
Oh, his name was January. Now it makes sense. What was his surname?
Warren.
January Warren?
Yeah. How did you meet January Warren? At a calendar fair or something?
Yes,
How long have you been seeing each other?
4 months.
And what was the film you chose to watch?
Beaches. So sad at the end.
I don't think I've seen Beaches.
Bette Midler. Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Bette Midler.
Say Bette Midler one more time.
Bette Midler.
I remember it now.
The wind beneath my wings. That's where that song is from. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be.
I feel like I should press a button to close the curtains at the creme at this moment.
Sarah, I'm going to be January Warren. And we're going to recreate it, OK?
OK.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing, honey? I just gotta tell you, I've never been as happy in a relationship as I am with you. Honey, you look a little upset. What's the matter, sweetie? Honey, is something wrong? You want some fun time? Make it right?
I'm not happy.
You've been watching Beaches again, right?
It sounds like I've been watching the Muppets.
I don't know if I'm upset about the film or your American accent, but I can't spend any more time with you, Jan.
You know what? I'm turning into Fozzie Bear as well.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you watch Beaches with him?
Yeah.
You sat with him to watch it,
Oh.
and the plan was
that's
always to
devious.
finish by the end of the film.
I thought, I know I'll cry if I watch Beaches, and that he would be, like, less angry because I was already crying.
So how did January react?
He was sad.
Well, he'd been watching Beaches as well. He's in a terrible mood.
He was sad, but he told me that he understood.
What do you think, Kate?
I think that I would choose Beaches to make me cry. I think that's plausible. I think because it's a really sad film.
Ed, what are you thinking?
I think it's true. They're 100% true.
I'm going to go 70% lie.
Right, well, I'm going to commit even further. I'm going to say 50% true. It's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie?
Of course it's a lie.
OK, Sarah, truth or lie?
A lie!
It's a lie. Sarah didn't watch a sad film just before a breakup.
11 years ago, I did a very bad thing in the kitchen. The time has finally come to confess all to my wife.
David's team.
What did you do?
I broke a pot, a cooking pot that you bake chickens in. You roast chickens in.
Okay.
Chicken pot.
What was so special about the chicken pot?
Good question, Greg.
Thank you.
Any ideas?
Was it a wedding present?
It wasn't a wedding present. No, it was terracotta.
Yeah.
And it's got a lid on it.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, man.
Yeah.
No, it genuinely is. It's about that deep, isn't it? And you put the lid on. And the thing about these terracotta pots is you're not supposed to wash them. The pot absorbs the flavour over the years. I had about an hour before she was coming home, and I knew she would not be happy about this, so I raced to the local kitchen shop and fortunately got the exact same pot.
How many years?
About half an hour to age it.
How many years had the previous one been aging?
Oh, 7 years.
So you had to do 7 years worth of casseroling?
Yeah.
In
half an hour.
In half an hour?
No, I had to make it look like it was weathered.
How did you do that?
First of all, I put a bit of soil on it. Then I put Marmite on, and then baked it very quickly on a high heat, and then scraped the Marmite off. Then I got sandpaper, a bit of sandpaper on it.
All this in the half an hour?
Unbelievable speed.
Before she got home?
When she arrived home, did she suspect anything?
Well, I was with another woman in bed, but apart from that...
How did you break it?
Well, I was fixing something with a screwdriver, and I got in a bad mood, and I threw the screwdriver down.
You threw a screwdriver so hard that it shattered an ancient cooking pot.
Didn't shatter it. Cracked. And it's not ancient, but the word pot was correct in that
Did you
sense.
say you...
I threw it down, it bounced, and it just chipped it a bit, but it was enough to make my wife... She would have noticed that chip.
So, you said...
Just let me have a drink and have a think about this. I'm not even married.
Why did you feel that a 7-year-old cooking pot had so much sentimental value for your wife that it was worth all this trouble?
Oh, did I not mention her grandmother's ashes inside? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's quite relevant. Sorry, I forgot that. Yeah.
Did you also burn another old lady?
All right, it's time to decide. Victoria?
I have met Lee's wife. She's an extremely sophisticated and nuanced woman with many interests. I don't think she'll be so...
Whoa, what do you mean, many interests? What do you know that I don't?
What are you saying? I can't believe that a 7-year-old pot would loom so large that you would feel unable to tell her.
That's because when you come round to my house and you're with my wife and we're having dinner, she's pleasant and she's nice. She's lovely, she's calm. And the second we wave you off, bye, see, this has been lovely, close that door. She goes, you embarrass me again! With your TV friends! That posh one with the beard kept staring at me! And I didn't like her husband either.
OK, I've got a couple of extra questions.
Oh, Lord.
What, you say it wasn't cracked, it was just chipped?
It was...
Was it usable?
Yes, it's definitely usable.
You would have been able to say, I'm really sorry I've chipped it, but the thing that you so love about it, all this accumulated flavour, is still there. It's not affected by a tiny chip.
There's a tiny bit missing. And actually, apparently, all the flavour comes from the sweet spot. And that's what had gone.
Where was
I remember as it chipped off, I went, smelt the pot, nothing. I took this little piece of it.
Even though the functionality of the pot is unaffected, you thought she'd be so furious at superficial damage to it.
Not superficial.
It is superficial.
No, it isn't superficial. I haven't told you the size of the chip, have I?
No.
OK.
You just simulated it. You went like that.
Yeah, but you don't know how I'm holding it. I'm holding it at the edge of... the edge of it. It goes round here. I'm holding it, you see.
David, it's time to get a grip and make a decision.
So the flight of the screwdriver...
Can I just the pot was ruined, David. That's all you need to know.
Well yeah, but when you said...
There you go, David. Yeah. Do you know what? I wish I'd have taken my chances with my wife at the time. This is unbearable.
Right. It is time to decide.
Second question.
No.
What did you do with the damaged pot?
I hid it to begin with, and then over the next couple of days, when she wasn't looking, I slowly
dragged it towards the door.
I moved it very slowly.
Because she only notices things when they move. Yes. She's Tyrannosaurus Rex.
She would be sat there with a glass of water watching the television. I would come down with a step and she'd see the water shimmer like that.
So, David, it's time to decide.
Yeah.
Was Lee telling the truth?
Well, what do you think?
I think it's a lie.
What do you think?
It can't be true.
I think it might be true, but I'm not going to overrule my team. We'll go lie.
Lee, were you telling the truth or were you telling the lie?
I'm sorry, my dear. It's true.
I once dumped my boyfriend on a plane, then parachuted straight out of the door to avoid dealing with the aftermath.
David's team.
Wow. So what was the plane? What was the context?
It was with the army. I was doing a sort of army exercise because I was being taken on by the Royal Engineers as a sapper, a celebrity sapper, and I had to detonate a bomb and all sorts of things. And one of the things was a parachute jump, and my boyfriend came with me sweetly.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what a sapper is?
No.
David,
like the army.
David has an awareness of the military. What is a sapper?
What do you mean I have an awareness of the military? A sapper is a sort of soldier.
Thank you. That's me.
Did you plan on breaking up with your boyfriend this trip?
It wasn't going well, and I thought I had been trying to work out the exact moment when it would be good, and he really wanted to come with me on the day, and to be honest, I wanted to go on my own because there's just going to be me and about
loads of soldiers.
1,000 soldiers.
We've all had days like that, Annika.
And as the day progressed, I just got more and more annoyed that he was there. And then we went up in the aeroplane, and he just said, I don't think things are really going well. You seem a bit distant today. And I just said, I don't think it's working.
And the man in charge was thinking, I hope she doesn't mean the parachute.
Was he then going to follow you? Was your boyfriend jumping
No,
as
he
well?
didn't have a parachute.
Oh, right.
So he
well, I hope he didn't just out of instinct follow you. Come back!
Is your love admin, do you think, a reasonable use of our defence budget? I mean... what? I mean, if
What was the altitude when you jumped?
I don't know.
Well, they didn't say.
Does 1,000 feet, 15... Who parachutes?
1,000 feet?
I would say 8 to 12 or something like that.
8 to 12 feet.
I find that quite challenging. What are you thinking? Is she telling the truth? Did this happen?
Well, I have one problem with this story, which is that if you're thinking you need to, end your relationship, that's potentially an embarrassing, awkward moment, something you might be inclined to put off. And one of the things, if I were you, I might be inclined to put it off until after, is the occasion when I have to jump out of an aircraft. Because
This is why there's never been a popular programme called Challenge David.
Well, yeah, but...
People would set you some brave challenges and you'd very calmly and rationally explain why you couldn't possibly do them.
But assuming, hypothetically, that I have agreed to jump out of an aircraft...
Yes.
Yeah.
I would not have that conversation just before I jumped out of the aircraft. I'd think, well, I might, you know, look on the bright side, the fall might kill me, in which case I'd never have to have the conversation.
She did say that she hadn't planned to. It was because he said, you seem a bit distant.
Yes,
and
but not as distant as she seemed a second later as she fell towards the ground.
Samson, what are you thinking?
I can't buy it. Like, I would have just broken up with him on the ground.
I think it's almost certainly true.
Almost certainly true?
Yeah. So what are you going to say, David?
I think it might be true.
Annika, jumping out of a plane and breaking up, was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. So please welcome this week's special guest, Jamie. So, Rory, who is Jamie to you?
This is Jamie, and after a mix-up in a tattoo parlour, we now have each other's tattoo.
Daisy, how do you know Jamie?
This is my ex-boyfriend, Jamie, and I used to put sleeping pills in my parents' tea so I could sneak him into the house.
And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Jamie?
This is Jamie. While staying at an Airbnb, I mistook him for an intruder and attacked him with a whisk.
So, there we have it. David's team, where would you like to begin?
Daisy, when did you go out with Jamie?
When I was about 14, 15.
Where did you get the sleeping pills?
My mother had them to get to sleep.
Oh. What was the drug?
It was just regular kind of night-old sleeping pills.
I don't know.
Over the counter?
Over the counter.
But they weren't prescription. They weren't like some hardcore thing from
No.
from a doctor. So you were trying to get them just to nod off a little bit earlier than they would have done.
Yes.
What sort of time would you administer the dose?
So I would administer, especially when they're watching Inspector Morse. So I'd say, "Can I make you a cup of tea?" They'd say, "Yes, please," and I'd be in the kitchen putting them in the.
How many times did you do this? How often did you do this as a tactic?
I think for the duration of our relationship.
Which was?
About a year.
What was it about Jamie that was so unacceptable to your waking parents?
Because he was a very angry goth. And he didn't treat me very well.
See, I wasn't necessarily assuming that your parents didn't approve of the relationship, just that they didn't approve of you, the thought of you holding hands with him.
No.
Did you think you were coming on Jeremy Kyle?
So you've drugged your parents. What happens next?
Then they go to sleep.
What, in the chair?
No, they say...
And you say, "Come on in, you come, my lover, don't worry about them, they're out for the count."
They say, strangely, this episode of Inspector Morse doesn't seem as gripping as normal. Let's get an early night. Who cares who did it?
They get very tired watching the show. They poodle off up to bed. At this point, he's finished work at the Chinese restaurant, so I sneak him round the back gate.
And because he's a goth, he's very well camouflaged in the dark.
Then Mum goes to bed, and we just listen to Iron Maiden very quietly and write goth poetry together.
I've never heard that euphemism.
No,
but... OK, and this happened for about a year, and were your parents unaware of the relationship altogether?
No, because they woke up once. And...
You went and got the chloroform and the hanky.
So they woke up, and my mum walks into the room to find some black goth hair on my pillow and says, "Paul," which is my dad, "get down here now. Daisy's smuggled in Jamie. Kick him out of the house. and say something responsible. So my dad said, "Get out my house, you pillock."
OK, now then, what about Rory?
OK, so Rory, what was going to be your tattoo and what tattoo did you end up with?
I wanted a tattoo of a crescent moon, quite classy.
Yeah.
Instead, easy. Instead, I got a picture of Popeye's face.
And where?
Just there on my left shoulder blade.
Have you still got it?
Yes.
And how did the mix-up occur?
We were on holiday in Thailand together. Bit of a lads booze up. One thing led to another. We all got a bit merry, shall we say. And I don't think it was Jamie's idea. I think it's probably Sam, my other friend, who said, let's all get tattoos.
Yeah, that sounds like Sam. That's a kind of...
It's a very Sam thing to do.
Yeah.
When was this, Rory?
Late 2000s.
The late 2000s?
Sorry, early 2000s, my bad.
The early 2000s.
Well, the late 2000s would be nearly 1,000 years.
A long time in the future. So you're in Thailand.
Yeah.
Talk us through the tattoo parlour. Where was it situated?
Koh Phangan. So you fly in, you get to Bangkok, and then I think...
If you're lucky.
And then you travel to Koh Phangan, and there's this little parlour, and they're used to tourists coming in all the time, and they have multiple beds, if I remember correctly.
How classy.
And not that kind of establishment. And then you choose out of a book what you want.
Yeah.
And then you kind of
So
go...
I know what a book is.
I'll have the number 4, Jamie wanted the number 5, or whatever
With rice,
it was.
or...?
Not that kind of establishment.
Okay.
And then they
So it is neither a restaurant nor a brothel. The kind of establishment it is a tattoo parlour with beds and a low standard of administrative competence.
You'd have gone out of the storm on this stag weekend, David.
Rory, how long was it before you realised the mistake?
Immediately. Yeah, you stand up, there's a mirror there, you go like that. And there wasn't a picture of a classy crescent moon, there was a picture of Popeye's face with the pipe and everything.
Who was more upset by this outcome, you or Jamie?
Me, by far.
Right.
Absolutely. He's now got a classy crescent moon on his back. I've got Popeye. Are you not following this?
OK, now then, what about Lee? Remind us, Lee, of your claim.
So this is Jamie, and while staying in an Airbnb, I mistook him for an intruder, and I attacked him with a whisk.
OK, and where was the Airbnb?
The Airbnb was in Rye.
And why were you staying in an Airbnb in Rye?
Because I like to get away from my family, full stop. I like to go away and write and just get some peace and quiet, so I go away for 2 or 3 days, occasionally, very occasionally.
Why did you
Get married in the first place? I don't know. I've asked myself every day the same question.
Why did you choose a whisk over a knife?
Well, as you may know, that a lot of people that are attacked in their home are often attacked with their own weapons, because what they do is they take a weapon, like a hammer, and they go, get out of my house, and then the burglar panics, and then he grabs the hammer, and a fight ensues, and then the person ends up getting injured. So when I opened the drawer, I had to make a selection. And I couldn't go knife for the reasons I've just explained. I looked at big rolling pin. I could get attacked with that. But you can't go the other way either. You can't pick up the Mr. Men jelly mould. And I had to find out what was the perfect middle ground between... It looks aggressive and offensive, but I think it'll be all right if he tries to hit me with it. What's the most he's going to do? Mess my hair up?
And you wouldn't want a knife, you wouldn't want to kill him. You'd have a whisk, you could just beat him.
You beat with a fork, you whisk with a whisk.
The applause begs to differ. Let's set the scene. Paint a more vivid picture for us.
It was daytime.
It was daytime?
Yeah. I mistook him for an intruder because I subsequently found out that on the email that was sent by the person who owned the house, they said, oh, by the way, someone's coming, whatever it was, Saturday afternoon, to have a look at the wood-burning stove. I hope that's OK. There'll only be 20 minutes or whatever. So I was asleep, and it was about midday, something like that, and I hear a noise downstairs. And then he starts playing around with the wood-burning stove.
Oh, no.
And I get worried. I think someone's down there.
Because the noise is sort of...
Sorry, well, you are Welsh. Are you asking me the time? And so I go downstairs and I see this figure. I panic. And I was going to say, get out, or else. I don't know what I was thinking. I just ran at him.
I'll whip you to a soft peak.
Oh, no, I definitely didn't say that to him. No, never say that to a strange man in your house, David. And I whacked him on the back really hard, just kept whacking him and whacking him.
You hadn't previously challenged him or asked him why he was there. You just went straight in and battered him with a hand whisk.
I just panicked and I was
just straight in, he went to the kitchen, got the hand, batter.
No, there's no batter involved.
We need an answer. So David's team, is Jamie Rory's branded buddy, Daisy's smuggled sweetheart, or Lee's innocent intruder?
What do you think, Diane?
Well, I'm not sure about night owl. I don't think it's that strong. So I think Daisy's lying.
Yeah.
How old do you have to be to know about Popeye?
Oh, that's
because I think
why would he pick? Yeah.
It doesn't ring true.
Okay.
You know that if it's not Daisy and not Rory, that means it's Lee.
That's right. Can't be Lee.
So what's it going to be, David?
I think it's Daisy.
You think it's Daisy?
I could be persuaded that it's Daisy.
We'll go with Daisy.
You're going to say Daisy?
Yeah.
Jamie, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jamie, and I used to sneak into Daisy's house.
Well done, guys. Yes, Jamie is Daisy's smuggled sweetheart. Of course, this is not something you should ever do, putting sleeping pills in someone's tea. And thank you very much, Jamie.
If my wife and I are having a row, to help us think more rationally, we go into separate rooms and continue the argument over Skype.
I should say, before we kick off here, if anybody in Wales is watching, Skype is it's a sort of telephone call with pictures. David.
Adam, where did this idea come from?
Well, it first started when we were not in the same physical space. Well, like, we weren't in the same house. We were
on Skype already?
We were on Skype. We were in different countries. And we were having quite a difficult conversation that I was anticipating was going to get out of hand, and I was surprised by the fact that Skype enabled us to stay relatively calm.
What was the difficult situation?
I was going to ask
Did it go along the lines of, what's that person doing in the background?
So what was the last row you had that required Skype's intervention?
Well, I mean, this is kind of personal.
You brought it up, mate.
I mean, it was sparked off by drawers being left open.
Oh.
I mean, I was very irritated because it was something that I pointed out a number of times, and I was disappointed to see that the conversation.
Classic.
Yeah. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed. I was very disappointed to see that the tip that I had given about keeping the drawers closed, especially the ones at a low level, so I don't bark my shins. Is that really unreasonable? I was disappointed to see that that chat hadn't been actioned.
So how do you go from arguing? Yeah. Which one of you will then say, OK, whoa, time out. Let's.
I mean, that's enough to start a divorce. Someone goes, OK, time out. Right, that's it.
I did that with my wife when we were having an hour. I go, make us a cup of tea. that doesn't help. Just a tip for you.
Who makes that decision? How does it move on to the Skype stage?
Yeah, I'm the one who makes the decision, because originally I thought that it would be a sort of funny way of diffusing some tension.
Is this a system you could see yourself implementing, David?
No.
You and Mrs. Mitchell, perhaps, if tempers are ever, heaven forbid, raised?
Well, I think it wouldn't work for us because I think we find computers more annoying than each other.
So, David, what are you thinking? Has Adam been telling the truth?
What do you think, Kirsty?
I think it's really, really possible.
What do you think?
He does like computers, doesn't he? Look at him.
I've got one last question.
Come on, then.
All right.
The first time you had the row in real life, when you had in the back of your mind that maybe if you could get onto Skype, the row would be diffused. Was that not, to your wife, an incredibly annoying suggestion?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I would have thought that the de-escalating effects of Skype would be overwhelmed by the escalating effect of suggesting Skype.
It's heavy going, isn't it?
It is heavy going.
It's very heavy going, that one.
8 years of this.
Get to the point!
Get to the point is not an exhortation you can fairly make during a parlour game. There is no point. This is a pointless exercise. We are whiling away our finite time before the grave.
What are you going to say? Truth or lie?
I think it's the truth.
I'm now thinking it's so weird it's true.
OK, my team says true. I'm certainly not sure either way, so I couldn't overrule them.
So it's true.
So we're saying
You're saying true, right? OK,
Yeah.
OK. Adam Buxton, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
Skype conducted arguments. That is a lie.
Oh, brilliant!
Yes, it was a lie all along. Adam and his wife don't go into separate rooms to argue over Skype.
Okay. Whilst on holiday in South Africa, I had a 2-minute conversation with what I thought was my wife, only to discover that a small hippo had wandered into the bedroom.
David's team, what do you make of that?
Miles, describe your wife to us.
Tall, slender, statuesque.
So did the hippo have a very similar voice to your wife?
The hippo was just sort of moving gently around. And
They're known for that.
not in an especially close proximity.
What was the conversation about, and how did you go 2 minutes?
I'll tell you what the conversation was about. It was about me, and I was doing most of the talking, which obviously contributed to my confusion.
Where, in fact, was your wife?
I don't know where she was. She was just not...
Have you ever seen your wife again?
So where were you? I'm guessing that this is a safari scenario, am I right?
It was sort of on the outskirts of Cape Town.
Describe the nature of the structure you were in.
Right.
Is it a building? Is it on the 4th floor of a...
Did the hippo have to get in a lift?
OK, well, it's mainly bungalows. The resort is a collection of sort of bungalow buildings, largely A-frame wooden buildings with a kind of thatched roof.
Why were the doors so big a hippo could get in?
Well, it's a small hippo, isn't it?
How small is a small hippo?
Like a George from Rainbow, or...?
That yay big.
So the hippo was only that big?
Yeah.
It's about the size of a Labrador.
Well, let's be clear. Is that its width or its length?
That is its width, as viewed from behind, and I suspect from the front.
This is worse. Your wife's like the back end of a hippo.
This A-frame bungalow has how many rooms in it?
It's got 2 rooms. At one end, there's a big bathroom, and then there's the rest of it is a very big open-plan bedroom, and it has a sort of seating area in the middle of it, and it has a bed at the far end, a very robust bed, and...
Bed you could make love to a hippo on?
That is speculation, but I wouldn't bet against it.
OK, we're in the bungalow, OK?
I'm in the ensuite end.
Yes.
OK. And I'd been shaving and then, you know, shouting over my shoulder. And I realised after a while, I'm not getting a lot back here. And I turned round and I saw that I had not been moaning about my career to my wife, but to a baby hippo.
How long was this baby hippo?
Well, I only saw it from the back, but I imagine, statistically, it'd be, what, probably 3 times as long as it was wide?
OK, so broadly, so it was a sort of as long as this desk?
Nobody measures
or
animals by width.
Well, you do.
Oh, I saw a massive snake, it was this big.
So what are you going to say? Is he telling the truth?
I think based on the width, it's a lie.
I think that was a panicked reach for width.
On the basis of the panicked reach for width. I think we'll say it's a lie.
You're going to say that's a lie? OK. Miles, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Miles didn't mistake his wife for a hippo whilst on holiday.
Right. Possession.
OK, reach under the desk and take out the box underneath the desk there. So if you just pop the possession...
This is the fez that I put on to propose to my wife.
Let's see the fez then, please, Jack, if you could just take that out. So there's the fez.
There's the fez.
OK, David.
OK, why?
Well, we were on holiday.
Yeah, I think you should put it on, Jack, so we can all get an idea of the romance of the moment.
You're on holiday in Cooper World.
We were on holiday, and there was a hat like this in the bar, and I don't know why. It had all sorts of knickknacks in the bar, and this is the look I went for to propose to her because it seemed like a fun way of breaking some very bad news.
What were you doing it for? Was it because you were trying to be different from your stage persona, or were you...
you know, there was no... When you do a thing like that, there's no rhyme or reason to it, is there? You just think it's a bit of fun, and then you didn't know that 20 years later you'd be interrogated about it by a group of people who don't care, you know, about you at all.
Where were you actually... What sort of situation, what location were you at when you put the hat on?
We were having drinks after dinner.
Well, just imagine for a moment, then, that I'm your now wife.
I would much rather not.
This isn't the game, and I'm sat there, I'm having a lovely time. I've landed on my feet with Jack. I mean, I could have gone out with all sorts of people, but I went for Jack, and he's a hell of a guy. And then out of the blue, you say this.
Would you marry me?
Well, just like that?
Yes.
Really? As simple as that?
Yes.
Did you really say just like that?
Yeah, I did, without any irony, I know, yeah. Incredible.
That wasn't even an ounce of a joke.
OK, what are you going to say, David? Is he telling the truth?
I think it's a lie. I don't think he looks comfortable in a fez.
And you think it's a lie?
Yeah, who does?
What are you going to say?
I think you're right, so I think it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie? OK, Jack, is it the truth or is it a lie?
I'll have you know, it was a lie.
That's me. This is the sweatshirt that my wife and I put on together when we are cozying up on a chilly evening. We call it the cuddle jumper.
Can I just ask for the full demonstration with Nick? Would that be OK?
Can we see a model?
Can you model with Rob the cuddle jumper?
Prefer not to.
Well, yeah. We all prefer not to. That's why I got in quick. Because I know where it was headed. Yeah, you can cuddle up with him and you can...
I have to get in there.
Come on, Nick. I know you've not done it before. Think of yourself as a bit of an apprentice with this. There we go. Stick your...
How do we...
So you have to get your arm down. That's better. It's quite nice, actually.
All right.
You can just sit in my lap there, Nick.
Right. Ask.
Who wants to ask first? Both teams.
Nick, how does it feel?
Yeah, that's my phone, by the way.
Hard to describe accurately. Vicar, will you help me and turn this way?
Because I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. Our television room is very drafty. So, what are you doing? Whoa, come back. It's very drafty. And we saw this on a shopping channel, and we ordered it for a laugh. And it's actually, I mean, you'd have to admit, it's very cosy.
He looks like a ventriloquist dummy now.
I'll tell you what, Orville's let himself go, hasn't he?
So we ordered it, and we don't wear it every night, but we do wear it sometimes.
Is this the position you'll be in, where your wife will be?
No, because we have more than one chair in our television room. So we sit on the sofa side by side.
On the sofa, wouldn't
yeah, but we haven't got a sofa.
Well, that's a good question. You have more than one chair. Have you got more than one jumper?
It's a cuddle jumper.
Well, why do you wear jumpers and cuddle up?
Why did you get it in orange?
We wanted that Guantanamo feel, you know?
Do they have pants too?
No.
You could have pants, couldn't you? 3 legs.
Are you suggesting that you lose the pants? Does the design lend itself to intimacy?
Yes.
Not tonight, it doesn't.
Time for a guess. What are you going to say, Lee?
Miranda.
I just really
I want to get in your jumper now.
Rebecca, this does put some pressure on you.
It's either mine or David's trousers.
So what do you think, Lee?
I don't want to rush it. I'm really cosy.
So what are you saying, truth or lie?
We think it's a try.
It's a try.
Hang on. We have to consult our other team member. Come over here. Do we think it's true or a lie?
I don't know what the question is.
The question is, does he cuddle up to his wife with
In
this
this
jumper?
No.
No.
Nick, it's got strong thighs, this boy.
Yeah, and you've got a very bony bum. David, what about you and Rebecca and Jack? What do you think?
I think it might be true.
I think it's true.
In a bizarre, perverse
Quick as you
other
like.
universe.
We'll go for true.
You're saying true, and what are you saying?
Oh, I forgot. Let's go back and ask Nick. We said it's a lie.
You're saying it's a lie. Well, I can tell you, it's actually a lie.
Now what do we do?
It's great. It's great. There's room for 3.
For 6 years, I pretended to a girlfriend that I was partially deaf.
Seems reasonable enough. David's team, what do you think?
After how many years of going out with her did this start?
Shamefully quickly.
Was by pretending to be partially deaf how you clinched the deal early on?
Are you saying I have to use pity to attract people?
I'm saying you might have used pity.
I'm not above it.
Did she have a very irritating habit that precipitated your going deaf?
Yes, talking. She was talking about something that was very important to her, some emotional thing.
Right.
And she said you weren't listening to me and got very upset, started crying, and so I thought I'll lie and tell her I'm deaf in one ear. Which I did.
And at that point, what you're saying to her is, I didn't hear anything because I'm deaf in one ear. I thought we were sitting together in silence. That's what I thought was happening.
No, I had my attention taken up with something else, and I said it apologetically.
Stroking his guide dog.
Well, that's what he called it, anyway.
Did you elaborate on why you were deaf in the ear after you had to go? What was your reason?
I said that when I was a child, I had nearly drowned when I was like 4 in a swimming pool, and this had left me deaf in one ear. I clearly tried shaking my head, and I felt quite bad because I told the lie early on, and then I had to maintain it.
So did you tell her ever after the 60s, or did the relationship just break up and you never told her?
I never told her.
Right.
I didn't tell her. I wrote about it in a newspaper column.
That's nice.
She's a Geordie, they're robust.
Actually, to be fair, now that adds credence to the fact he didn't want to hear her, so...
I'm just trying to put myself in the position of that woman. 6 years! You've lied. You've lied to me.
A big lie?
It's quite a big lie.
You'd be surprised how often it doesn't come up.
Now that's a big lie.
And the advantage is, after telling that lie, half the times it comes up, you can pretend you haven't heard.
So what do you think?
So you think it's...
A lie.
You think it's a lie?
Horrifically, I think it's true.
I think it might be true.
You think it's true. Charlie, is it truth or lie?
It's true.
Everything that you just told us is true.
Yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid it is. And it was terrible. It was such a burden.
Oh, poor you! Yeah.
The first time I introduced her to my parents, we're going down to meet them on the train. I suddenly thought, oh, God, she's going to mention the... And so I had to turn round to her and say, don't bring it up. My mother blames herself. And... I didn't want to lose her. I was desperate. Having told this terrible lie, I was locked into it. I daren't tell her I was going to... Can't you see that? Don't you find that moving? You, cold-hearted monster!
I'm not having this! You can't call us cold-hearted. You've lived
People
a
make
6-year
mistakes,
life.
David!
Yes, and for which they must be punished.
So yes, it's amazingly true. Charlie did pretend to a girlfriend for 6 cruel years that he was partially deaf. Ironically, like all his other girlfriends, she was partially sighted.